Part 2. First, I want to thank everybody for the help and many kind words that were sent my way. Seriously, thank you. I'll start with what happened afterwards, and work my way up to today, and that's the only reason that I'm making an update only a week later. Emily, my best friend's sister, texted both of them informing that I'd be coming by to get stuff. Emily would be going to my ex-so's. I went with my best friend, Trevor, and Emily to get some stuff from my apartment. My roommate wasn't there, but he left me a note saying that he's sorry, and attempting to explain the situation. I threw it away, after reading it, grabbed some stuff and loaded it into my car. I drove back to their house while the two of them then went to my ex's apartment to grab my stuff. My ex was there and at first, she wouldn't let them in. She yelled at them to go away through the door, and after about 15 minutes of them sitting there, she eventually opened up and let them in to collect my things. They grabbed my PS4, movies, cookware, clothes and some random other things. She cried the whole time and asked them if they would tell me that she's sorry. It was a one-time thing, I would do anything to change it. They didn't say a word, although she was crying into an older hoodie of mine, so they left that there. I'm not too torn up about that. I told a few select friends what happened, and asked if they would watch the doors to my classroom when I had classes as I didn't want to cause a scene. Nothing on Wednesday, but she stood outside one of my teaching classes on Thursday. I went in through a different door, and thankfully she didn't see me. Friday is the day that really upsets me. As I said in the last post, in a reply, I'm an education major and I have my practicums this semester. Our education building has 2 floors, and the first floor is a laboratory school, an elementary school that has a lot of education students come in and do their practicums, or observations, while the second floor has classrooms for education students. My practicum is with 3rd graders, and she stood outside the door to my 3rd grade classroom waiting for me. We have name tags, and only have to show those to the desk to get in. She used to be an education major, but switched majors, therefore it wasn't too uncommon for her to be in there. I saw her and my heart immediately sank. I decided to just walk by her and ignore her. She saw me and started crying and trying to talk to me. I didn't say a word, but just walked into the classroom. My cooperating teacher asked her to leave, but all my students that were there had already seen it. They started bombarding me with questions, but I just stuck with, "It's nothing important right now. We can talk about it later, but we need to focus on our learning right now." But honestly, it killed me inside. I explained the situation to my cooperating teacher, and asked her to watch out for if she came back again. She said that she would and would ask her to leave if she saw her again. I received a few text messages this weekend from her, and her roommate, that was extremely annoying. I got an insane amount of phone calls, and I got a ton of Facebook messages. Trevor and Emily also received quite a few as well. I worked all weekend, and threw myself into lesson plans and projects too. I also went and played a round of golf with some friends. Today is really why I'm updating. I got a text from my ex at around 7:15 p.m. She told me that she was pregnant and that it was mine. I screenshotted the conversation. I'm trying to stay calm, but if she truly is pregnant, and the baby is mine, then that throws a whole wrench into everything. Can anybody give me some advice on what to do next? I'm trying to remain as calm as I can, but this is really big and I'm starting to freak out. Thank you all. Here's the text conversation. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry that I messed up our future, but I think that we just got a second chance. I know that this isn't what you wanted to hear, but I'm pregnant. Maybe this is why I made my mistake. You can't use a pregnancy to explain cheating. It doesn't work like that. I want a pregnancy test. Not one from the store, but to actually go to the doctor and have them do that. If it turns out that you are pregnant, then I want a paternity test. Fine. I'll call the doctor tomorrow and set up an appointment. But if I am pregnant, can we have a second chance? No. All I want to know from you is when and where the appointment is. She seems too calm for this to just be a joke. She's been batshit crazy for almost the past week, and now she's extremely calm. I'm honestly extremely scared. TL, Dr. XO waits outside my classroom for me and says that she's pregnant. What do I do next? Comment 1. It's pretty simple. Text her and ask when the doctor's appointment to confirm is. Offer to meet her at the office and you can both be there for the doctor to give a test. I stress. You will meet her at the office. Not drive her, not ride with her. Do not engage in any other conversation. My best guess is she's not pregnant. If she is pregnant, then you'll go to the appointment and can figure out things afterwards. Comment 2. I hate to sound like a broken record, but your next move is pretty much what everyone else is saying it should be. As others have said, I'm almost positive that she is not pregnant and she is just throwing this out there as an excuse to get you to talk to her. But in the meantime, meet her at the doctor's office. Don't talk about anything other than the pregnancy. No apologies, no reminiscing, no arguing. Engaging in any of those conversations is a very easy way to get manipulated back into the relationship. If she is pregnant, don't do anything until you know if the baby is yours. It may seem cruel, but you can't act like a father or sign your name on any documents that would imply you've assumed responsibility for the child. In some states, simply signing the birth certificate makes you responsible for the child and thus, responsible for paying child support, if it ever comes to that, regardless of paternity. So it is very important that you keep your distance from her until you know the results of the paternity test. But, I seriously doubt it will get that far. I actually knew a girl who used the "I'm pregnant" excuse to get her ex, a good friend of mine, to stay. When he started pressing her for proof of the pregnancy, she claimed she miscarried. He felt so guilty he stayed with her longer than he should have. So beware of this kind of manipulation as well. That is why it is so important for you to first and foremost find out if she is pregnant at all. This woman is obviously very manipulative, and I wouldn't put it past her to claim she had a miscarriage when backed into a corner. Good luck. Comment 3. I would recommend that you bring Trevor and/or Emily with you to this meeting as a buffer. More than likely she's using this as a way to get you to show up and talk to her, and if it appears that she's just trying to convince you to get back together with her, have Trevor/Emily stay and leave the premises. I assume you trust them to make sure the doctor gives her a test and confirms her pregnancy. The odds of her being pregnant are seriously low. I just would worry that this is her setting up an ambush for you to try and corner you into listening to her bullshit justifications for being a ducking terrible person. ETA. Also, the fact that she is super calm should be evidence that this is a lie, not that this is real. If this was real, she would be equally emotional about it. I mean, put yourself in her shoes if you can. There's no way that she'd be handling this calmly if it was true. Probably she just sat down and thought, how can I emotionally blackmail him into talking to me? What's the one thing he can't say no to? And then came up with this ploy. Comment 4. Ask for pregnancy test to be done at a doctor's office. Don't trust any piss test. She might be just altering the results in a bid to hook you back in. If the doctor-administered test comes out negative, then you're in the clear and tell her to duck off. If it comes out positive, then consult with the doctor pertaining to when DNA testing for an unborn fetus can be done safely. While you wait for the DNA testing, do not support or even remotely do anything that could be seen as you being a father figure. Do not sign anything, and please consult a lawyer. After DNA testing is done, if the baby isn't yours, then tell her to duck off. If it's yours, then continue consulting your lawyer to arrange for your child rights and to protect your finances and assets. Comment 5. Look at what you know. Make each piece of information a bit of data. Then plot all of that data onto a graph where the horizontal line is time elapsed and the vertical line is extremeness level of her behavior. Where the two lines meet is the moment you walked in on her and your roommate having time, in what was most definitely not their first time. I am sure if you did this you would notice that overall she has been escalating her behavior. Initially she locked your friends out for 15 minutes, then lets them in. Then she stands outside your class building. Then she stands outside your classroom, etc. All the while you stay firm and consistent and do not acknowledge her or give her the relief that she wants, and just getting to talk to you for a second will relieve some pressure from her, no doubt about it. Finally she tells you something that she knows you are going to have to respond to. Do not trust her. Tell Trevor and Emily the new development and let them be your liaison. There are plenty of ways she can verify the pregnancy in an objective way that will likely put the proof to her lie when she refuses, say want piss on the stick in front of Emily for example, or want get a blood test. If on the off chance she is telling the truth, then your next move should be to get a prenatal DNA test performed to determine the paternity of the child. You honestly cannot say with any confidence the child is yours. You are not the only one who was sleeping with her at the time of conception. And as I said above, it is very unlikely that you just so happened to walk in the one time that happened. She is trying to manipulate you because she is in freefall and you are not moving to catch her. She is trying to become the victim, first by elaborate displays of remorse and finally by likely inventing some story to try to get you to give in to her. Keep your wits about you like you have this whole time. Do not be reactionary about this news. I would suggest continuing to maintain no contact until the paternity test is performed. Probably will never get that far, as I said. Again, I am sorry for your situation. Just keep putting one foot ahead of the other. Thanks you for watching. Everyday new movies. See you soon.